Hello and welcome to Championship Chatter here on Pitch Football. I'm Jonny.
And I'm Jonno.
And we're going to walk you through all things Championship. Coming up,
we take a look back at the standout results.
We've got fans from Huddersfield who will begin as the lowdown on their season.
Looking ahead towards the upcoming fixtures.
We've got the weekly awards.
And we've got more.
Might as well kick straight in with standout results. It's been a bit of a bumper week, hasn't it? We had 4 weekend fixtures, 4 midweek fixtures over 2 days.
Yes, it's a backlog of games for most clubs.
Yeah, and there's been some shockers in there and all. Not shockers as in bad games, there were a few. Coventry, Sheffield United. But there were some games that just thought, wow, how's that happened?
It's a lot of teams that have gone into this weekend with a lot of confidence, and a lot of them have slipped up this week.
Yeah, there's been some teams that have crumbled, there's been some teams that have just gone from strength to strength, which gets us into our first game, and who'd have thought this one? Barnsley won, Fulham won.
Great result from, brilliant result, just showing you that they're still fighting. There's no way they think that they're down at the moment. Fair play to them, it's a great result.
It is, and we were saying a few weeks back Barnsley had done.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they are going to slip down into League One, but they are getting a great fight, and another brilliant result overnight against Bristol. So
yeah, that's one we're going to go on to a bit further down the line, but might as well cover it now while we're on them. Barnsley 2, Bristol 0. They just keep fighting and they keep going for it. The Derby game were a massive disappointment, as you saw on the Pitch Football socials. They looked dead and buried. You had fans leaving at half time. There were no belief. But there seems to be some more fight about them, some more grit and some more, I don't want to say it because it's a bit of a cliche, but there's some more Yorkshire grit to them now, isn't there?
As fans, that's what you want to see from your team, especially when you're down there. You want them to fight. And you can't just let them roll over like they did against Derby. And yeah, they're getting a good fight to it, and a deserved victory and a very good draw against Fulham. Yeah,
very good draw. Moving on to that, your relegation favourites, Bournemouth.
Yeah, slipped up, haven't they, again?
If anybody keeps wondering why we keep saying this, at the beginning of the season, where did you have Bournemouth tipped for?
I said they'd be fighting. Oh, I said they'd be down near relegation zone. I don't know why. I know about football.
He says he's sat here presenting a football show.
Is this football show?
You thought you were here for ruggers. But now, Derby County, my favourite team, lost again. 2-1 to Bournemouth, and it's a game they were expected to lose on paper, especially with the form. But it's another smashing arse for Derby, isn't it?
Yeah, just as though they've got a bit of momentum beating Barnsley, and yeah, they've not capitalised on it, and I think they've dropped below Barnsley again now, haven't they?
Yeah. Bournemouth, they were looking like they were slipping. They're starting to kind of build again, try and make a bit of...
They're a steady ship, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think Huddersfield would be the more disappointed of the two teams, because they could have easily capitalised. I mean, they've only got 1 point from the last 6.
Oh, mate, they've been awful.
Which they could have easily gone into second spot now.
Yeah, as we've said, Huddersfield have been massively disappointed. Losing 2-0 to Millwall, that is, in itself is a massive standout result.
Yeah, and they'll be disappointed, but Millwall, I mean, how many, they've won about 7 in the last 6 games, something like that now. What a run they are on.
They had the game the other day where they didn't have a single shot on target, and you look at games like this where they've beat Huddersfield 2-0, it could have been another one of them. If you only have 2 shots on target and you stick both away, who cares how pretty it were? You're winning games. But Huddersfield, as we said, massively disappointed. One team that won't be disappointed, they just keep fighting, they keep plugging at it, and they keep going. Amazing results. Luton, admittedly, not the result they wanted against QPR at the weekend, but then to bounce back with a 4-0 win against Preston.
And Preston almost
we know that.
Preston, yeah.
How many times have we thrown it away against Preston?
Well, yeah, brilliant result from them, and they're keeping themselves up there.
Yeah, I think the thing with Luton is every time you think they're going to slip up, they just seem to come back stronger and stronger. And I want to say it's down to they've got one of them squads, haven't they? A bit like Sheffield United had back in the day, a bit like Blackpool had when they went up to Premier League, where if you've got a good core of players and a good belief and a good camaraderie within the team.
Yeah, that's one of the main things into the team morale, and when you're playing with a smile on your face, and they're all playing for each other, it's a very, very good team to have.
Yeah. Looking at that, QPR, they did beat Luton at the weekend. Nottingham Forest just keep flying, don't they? They'll have a bad result and then they'll come flying back.
That's what you want to do when you've had a bad result. Get straight back into it, and if you don't, then it does start weighing on you.
Obviously, we mentioned there about Huddersfield, and it seems to be slipping through the fingers at times, doesn't it? So what we'll do is we'll go to Jonny from Huddersfield channel. Andy Takes That Chance, and we'll get his perspective on things.
Hello, Jonny from Andy Takes That Chance podcast, Huddersfield Town supporter. Our season to date, to review, I'd say has been significantly above expectations from the start of the season. We find ourselves sat in third in the league at the moment with a slight chance of top two and a strong chance of finishing the playoffs. And I feel we've really started to actually display really strong performances against good teams. We've got results where people wouldn't necessarily expect us to. We're playing really controlled football. We're kind of controlling games, which is something that we haven't done for a long time. We play really quite fluid football. We were able to change and switch between formations in game really easily, and that's down to the quality of the players and the quality of the coaching that we've had this season and towards the latter stage of this season also. So I feel it's well above expectations what we're doing, but having seen how we're doing it and the quality of football that we're producing, expectations are starting to come into line with where we sit in the league, and I really think that there's a good chance Huddersfield could cement a playoff place and be a big contributor to those four playoff teams come the end of the season. Star players for Huddersfield is a difficult one. To pick one particular player is quite hard. I've got to try and stop myself from listing pretty much the starting 11 and beyond. To pick out one, I think you can't not mention, if you only had to say one, which would be Lewis O'Brien. A fantastic player, playing in a division now, I'd say below where his skill set would afford him. He's a Premier League player in a Championship team. Hopefully he'll be a Premier League player with us next year, but if not, I think he probably will go on to play and ply his trade in that league. Doesn't probably get the plaudits week in, week out he probably deserves, purely down to the expectation levels town fans have of him now. Say a 7 and 8 from Lewis O'Brien is a cut above everyone else's 7 or 8. Just to give an honourable mention to a few, Lee Nichols came in from MK Dons last season, couldn't get a game, revolutionised goalkeeper position, which is probably something that's needed for a while. Huddersfield Town made a real difference on and off the pitch. Danny Ward's transformed his career at the club this season. Didn't really do a lot last season, but has adapted, added new things to his game, and is now a critical part of Huddersfield Town's starting 11. Sorba Thomas is that bit of electric, bit of spice, or just something different, bit of magic on the pitch, and a real workhorse, and a real kind of working man's footballer. Do you know what I mean? Just passionate, pure passion. Those are the kind of players I'd say who probably are star players, but star player, they're the ones that really make a difference, the difference makers for Huddersfield, and probably some of the surprise packages from this season for Huddersfield. The manager, interesting one. Last season, I think a few Town fans, probably more than others, were probably looking to call for his head towards the end of last season. Certainly as the games got towards kind of the last 5, last 6, the performances were awful. There was a few injuries. There was a bit of rationale for giving him a bit of time, and that's what the club looked to do. Completely turned around this year. He's really showed the quality coach that he is. I wouldn't say he's got his own players in, and that's why it's happened. He probably hasn't, but he's managed to work with what the club have given him and real change, apply real change to players' games and get a real culture in the club, in the dressing room, which is goes to show on the pitch, which kind of got the fans have been bought into and the fans have started to engage with. And it's something we've not seen for a long time at Huddersfield. It's real control of games, but it's penetrative as well. It's not just passing for passing's sake. They can move the ball quickly, they can be direct when needed, they can kind of take stock and control games when needed, and they can break and counter and have some really fast interplay in the final third when needed as well. So it's really fluid, it's really adaptive, and it's clever football. And I think Carlos is starting to get the critics in the wider media, the wider press from the work that he's done. To review the Championship as a whole, I mean, it's hard to do in probably the minute that I've got left. It's a crazy league. It gives and gives and gives every year. You've got the Fulhams, the Bournemouths, who have probably done what we expected this year. You've got the West Broms that have completely fallen off a cliff and done what we didn't expect them to do. You've got the whole point deduction with Reading and Derby and the whole kind of soap opera around that off the pitch, leading to probably quite a few fans wanting them to do well on the pitch to try and see if they can get back from that 21 point reduction. You've got Barnsley, who are doing their standard last-minute great escape, which looks to be working at the moment. So it is a fantastic season. I think the most excitement currently is who's going to get those player spots. You've got teams playing each other every week, 6 pointers every week now to the end of the season, and that's where I really think the excitement will be. And then in the playoffs to see who can probably join Fulham, maybe Bournemouth, maybe Huddersfield, maybe another. It's a real fantastic season, and I think you've got to watch the wire to find out who's gonna finish where.
So obviously, you can understand his frustration at times, being so close. Like, it's within the grasp, innit, but it keeps slipping away. Another team, as we mentioned, that's just like that. We mentioned your favourite team, Bournemouth. Every time they think they've got it sewn up, and every time they think they've got this like promotion in the bag, it starts to go wrong. How long can they keep doing that before somebody does take the initiative and catch them?
I don't think they will. I mean, I know they're all stumbling at the moment, but the teams below them are stumbling.
Yeah.
So it's not having a huge impact on them, luckily enough for them. And yeah, I still think that will be the top two at the end of the season.
I still think it's going to be Fulham and Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've got to win your game in hand, but I think Bournemouth's got 3 games in hand now.
Yeah,
on
they have.
Huddersfield. They're going to at least pick up 3 points from that.
I know we were thinking, we could catch him here and chase him, but then you know what Sheffield United do with games in hand. We don't do very well with.
Well, it's the same as just your Forest, QPR, even Luton's. They might have even fancied second spot, but I just can't see it now.
Hey, Luton going up second, that'd be a shocker.
Well, why not? They've got a good chance, I suppose. If anybody's going to catch him, it would be.
They're ones that are in form and keep pulling it out of the bag. Oh, I want that now.
That's not going to happen.
I want it. Yeah, I never knew I needed something until I heard it out loud, and it's Luton going up second. I need that in my life.
It would be a great story. What a story it would be. And not just for Luton, but I think for the whole Premier League as well. Just to have a team like Luton in Premier League.
What, I mean, Burnley Mark 2? I mean, focusing on relegation, we're going to end at season where a lot of the discussions are becoming quite samey because the same team's in and out of it every week. But I want to draw a bit of a comparison. You've mentioned that you think Barnsley are going to fall back into it and they're going to be ones that end up going down. I think as they keep building, the better Barnsley get, the worse Reading are getting.
As I've already said, Reading are doomed. I still think Derby are the ones to stay up.
Really?
Yeah. I just think Derby have got that more quality to get the more results, and Reading I think are doomed. I can't see Reading getting out of it. I can't see him picking up points anywhere.
I mean, we've got Barnsley playing Sheffield United coming up. With form wearing, they could get something from that realistically. But even if they don't, then they've got Reading coming up. That could be a game to make or break that relegation place, you know.
Where's that at?
I believe it's at Barnsley.
What a game for Barnsley, that one.
Yeah. I just think that Reading have been that woeful. I can see them taking that third spot and going down Peterborough and Derby, you know. I've got that feeling. I have got a bit of a soft spot for Barnsley, which is funny to say. You
just want to see Derby go down, don't you?
Well, I weren't going to go there, but yes. There's no other team that can get dragged into it that I can see other than Reading, and they are getting worse.
There's 4 teams at the bottom of the league, and that's all it's going to be. I think there's way too much of a gap now between 21st and 20th.
We don't talk much about mid-table at this stage of the season. The teams that are there are just there. A team that absolutely pasted us at the weekend, Coventry. You know what, all banter aside, and believe me, I did have some banter and they don't like it. They do play some nice football. And I do think that there are some teams there that are in that mid-table position. Blackpool last night, I expected a bit more from them. But teams like your Coventries and your Millwalls that grind out results, are they going to be building for next season?
I think they always said this towards end of season. It's like, we'll make a platform for next season and push for playoffs, and it seems to be the same story every season for them. Millwall have always been a mid-table time, but always pushing for that playoff spot.
They always flirt with it, don't they?
Yeah, I'd like to see them in playoff spot because I do like Millwall. I think they're a decent club.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'll be the same next season for them.
You think just missing out?
Unfortunately, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to kind of reiterate this, but I do think that certain clubs are just built to fail at that last hurdle. And I do think that, like you just said, Millwall, the one room, they're always building and it never quite comes to it.
Sheffield United at the moment.
That's what we're going to move on to. We were tipped to walk the division. I never saw that coming. I don't think we were that built that way. It turned out to be the correct call because the management appointment was wrong. The players are ageing. We just don't have the players keeping fit at the moment. But there's other clubs that are in a similar position to us that every season you think they're going to have a good season. They're going to have a really good one. And they flop every time. Is that a mentality thing? Is it expectation? Or is
expectation, definitely. I think United sometimes are naive to go to places and think they're going to get a result.
Yeah. Big
It's
time.
like some teams, I think Bournemouth are the same. When they roll up somewhere, Fulham probably against Barnsley thought that should be an easy win. This one, it's nothing easy, and you've got to fight for them points to stay up there.
Yeah, and you can see teams faltering. It's a good thing for Fulham that they've scored about 8,000 goals, and they are firmly cemented at top of the league because with little blips they keep having.
I think
West Brom
had scored more goals for Fulham than what the entire Barnsley side has scored, so it just shows you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but then you look at the West Brom result, and Toll Cabbagehead gets a result for West Brom.
David Bruce is on a roll, isn't
And,
he?
oh, now they think they're back in playoffs.
They don't.
They do.
They don't.
Their fans seriously believe that the playoff dream is back on. What do you think to that?
If they get in playoffs, I will wear a West Brom shirt.
Clip that. Put that on everything. Not win the playoffs, you mean just get into the playoffs.
I'll reiterate that later.
You will renegotiate that. Standout fixtures coming up. Huddersfield v Bournemouth. The two teams we've just been saying, there's one team chasing and one team that keeps blipping. Is this going to be a decider for that second spot? If Bournemouth win this, is that them up?
Definitely.
You think so?
Definitely. Huddersfield, if they do win, it'll be a right result for them. But they're still looking at Bournemouth's games in hand.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be able to relax even if they do win, but it'd be a right result for either side to win. So it's definitely going to be a draw.
Fulham v Forest. As we said, Fulham keep having little blips, but they're cemented at the top. Forest just keep grinding out results. If they don't get a win, they get a draw.
I think Fulham will like this type of game.
You think?
A team that's going to come at them, and I think that will suit Fulham more. A team like Barnsley that's going to sit back and...
But then saying that, they played West Brom and Fulham didn't even have a single shot in first half because West Brom were constantly on them. So is it more of a case of Fulham running out of legs?
No, with quality that they've got. I think, like I said, Forest will be a decent team for them to play, and I can only see a Fulham victory for that one.
Sheffield United at home to South Yorkshire rivals Barnsley. That is a game where I think it's two dreams. I don't think if Barnsley lose that's it for them, but it is a massive hammer blow. And I think for any kind of playoff chances for our beloved Blades, I think they're out the window if we don't get a win.
I totally agree with that. 3-2 in reverse fixture. We were cruising 3-0. Barnsley never gave up, scored 2 goals. It's a derby, how it could happen. And I'm looking forward to it, but I'm still with 3 United win.
I think with that one, it's going to be everybody on the outside looking and everything's South Yorkshire derby, blood, guts, thunder, goals like the 3-2 game. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. It's guaranteed 0-0.
Yeah.
It's got 0-0 writ all over this one, and it's because both teams, Barnsley are going to fight for it, and we just ain't got players.
Both teams are not going to want to lose.
Exactly.
As you don't in a derby, or you don't in any game like, but derby's always that more bragging rights. It's not far, is it, Barnsley to us? It's not as hatred as it used to be, though, I don't think.
No,
United, is it? I think our dark side of the town's gone to all it.
Well, it's a Barnsley derby, isn't it? Between it's them two. Reading v Blackburn. Blackburn still chasing to cement the places. They're still deep down. I think they can chase them automatics in their own heads. Realistic. Yeah.
God, no.
Realistic.
Everyone just started to score a goal again.
But realistically, playoffs is what they're fighting for. And Reading fighting for their lives if they've got any fight left in them because they don't seem to be showing it.
No, they haven't.
That could be a game that really sinks Reading into the shit.
Actually, it will be because Blackburn will win that one. So.
Oh, bold claim, no qualms.
Reading they're awful.
Here's a scoreline.
3-0.
3-0 Blackburn.
3-0 Blackburn.
At Reading.
I mean, I'm very good at predictions, so definitely put some money on that.
We'll move straight into the awards on the back of your revelation of how good that you are there. Let's come straight into the result of the week. And who have you got?
I went for Millwall's result against Huddersfield.
Against Hudders?
Yeah, what a result that for Millwall. And like I said, they're teasing them playoffs again. And it'd be nice to see them getting it. Well, not at our expense, but
I don't think you can look away from our result of the week. You know my little love-in with Luton. And to beat Preston 4-0. And as you said earlier, Preston and no mugs. That is a result and a half.
It's very good for the new Luton fan.
The new Luton fan. Where's me free merch? Your shock of the week, Jonno.
Barnsley's draw against Fulham. Everybody thought Fulham was going to roll them, and they did very well. And
I've got to agree with you. That's my shock of the week. It was one of them games where you thought, Barnsley are having some fate in them, but Fulham will just have far too much. And I know it weren't a win, but it's as good as against a team like Fulham.
It is, especially when you thought you were going to get 0 out of it.
Yeah.
So it's a bonus for him.
A point is better than none. And that's the old adage saying. And when you're in the position Barnsley are in, points make prizes.
Exactly. And that brings me on to my star of the week, which is Poya Asbaghi.
I'm going to agree with you. Before we both butcher the pronunciation, I'm going to say what he said.
Poya Asbaghi. If it doesn't sound like that, you should change it to sounding like that.
Boyo. No.
4 points out of possible 6. A draw against top of the league. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're giving it a really good fight, so well done.
I know Barnsley fans weren't sold on him when he first came in. I was speaking to some Barnsley fans yesterday, and they said they got their academy manager or somebody from the academy to come in as an assistant, and I think they kind of guided him about what Barnsley's all about. And since he came in, he's had a massive turnaround. There's more fight in him. There's more guts and glory in him, and there's less of this continental tippy-tappy nonsense that you don't need at bottom of Championship, do you?
Yeah.
And I agree. Star of the week. Your div of the week.
Div of the week, very hard this week. It's not really stand out, so I'm just going to put Huddersfield in there. Just
the club in general.
Just the club in general. You had a great chance to capitalise on a few errors from Bournemouth, and 1 point out at last 6 is. It's not going to get you automatic, I'm afraid.
No, definitely not. I could have gone for the linesman last night against Sheffield United and Blackpool, Mr. S Wonder, but I'm going to leave that one out and go for I'm going to stop, picking at Blades things just because I'm frustrated. And what I'm going to pick for my div of the week is more of a broad div. Every single club whose fans use a drum, liquidate. They are my div, not just of the week, but the millennium. It's the same bollocks every time, and I'm squeaking, I'm that angry. It's like Jane Eric song.
Oh no, we went out last night at Blackpool.
Oh, what were it last night?
We were just a bit faster when they got into the box.
It's just rubbish. It is rubbish. You're not European ultras. This don't make you some like Eastern European team with flares. It don't make you a mega fan. It makes you look so crap. It's untrue. It's an artificial crap atmosphere. Sing way out your drum. I bet they can't. Because half these teams that have got drums they brought in because they had no atmosphere. Well, you ain't got an atmosphere there. All you've got is a slow repetitive. And it's shit. It is shit. There's no originality to any songs. All the songs are the same. Like I said, Jane Eric song, sang by Fleetwood, and Parley's too, because that's what we do. But it's the same song at every club. Do one.
So what you're saying is you don't like drums?
Don't like drums. Div of the week. Any club with a drum. Liquidate with Derby. Anyway. Final thoughts of the Championship this week, Jonno.
Don't get a drum.
Don't get a drum. It's getting to business time now, innit? In the Championship. And I think after this weekend's fixtures, the picture will almost be completely painted. I do think that places are going to start cementing in. You'll not see much movement after this weekend.
I don't know. There's that many teams now fighting for that playoff spot. I don't know. I think there's a few weeks to go yet before play. I think top 2, and I think you'll find that the bottom 3 will start showing a bit more. I think Redden will be at bottom 3 next 2 games. So
yeah, I don't know. I can see the picture being not finished, but artists will be getting ready to sign in corner. There's a season done. I just think that there's starting to be games are all catching up now. There's less games in hand as a team, apart from Bournemouth. We've got about 80 million games in hand, but we're starting to get there now. We're starting to see what it's going to be looking likely, and there's some surprise packages in there that could fall off. You never know. Can they keep it going? But I think we're getting there now.
Yeah, like I said, it's still a long way to go, and it's the playoffs that's going to be the one up for grabs, and I think till the last week as well.
Yeah. Before we go, make sure that you do download the Pitch Football app. There's some exclusives on there, including our favourite game, Foreplay.
Have a bit of foreplay.
Everybody loves a bit of foreplay. You'll see the James Elder fan channel podcast show, whatever he wants to call it. The James Elder show. It's great. They talk about it's like this one, but they talk about the Premier League. It's lovely. You'll see all the social clips online. We're trying to get more and more fan reactions after games, especially in the Championship, with how exciting the season's getting. It's just a generally good app to have. Download it. Why ain't downloaded it yet? We'll pause 1 second.
So like and subscribe.
You downloaded it yet? Come on. not paid by hour. I've been Jonny.
And I've been Jonno.
Good luck with your hackers.
Have a good drink.